Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I just wanted to do like a really simple graphic liner look, and for some reason I've ended up with this kind of pixie fairy vibe, which I'm really not that mad at. I kind of like it. I just kind of wish it was acceptable to go to work every day with gems on your under eyes for absolutely no reason. I definitely would. I had a couple of different ideas for lilac looks that I really wanted to do today, but I didn't know which one I wanted to go for. So I asked Instagram to vote on which palette I would be using today, and Instagram voted on the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. I mean, we only use one shade, it's nothing overly complicated, but I do really like the effect. I think it's pretty cute. And because the eye look was actually pretty quick, I figured we could actually do the full face today, show you the foundation and everything, which I don't normally tend to do. So if you'd like to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Alright guys, so I haven't actually gone ahead and primed my eyes with my P. Louise base just yet, because I am going to be doing things slightly differently today. I've mentioned this about this palette before. I really like it. I think it's great for shades, for blending out and finishing up looks. But today I want to pack a shade on, and I don't think it's kind of good enough for that on its own or with my normal base. So I am going to be using one of the coloured P. Louise bases, but I also don't want to have too much build-up of product on my eye. So I am going to start with my P. Louise base in the shade 0.5, because I do want to carve out my brow and just have some sort of base on the brow, but I'm not going to do the whole surface. I'm not going to do the eyelid. It's going to make a lot more sense if I actually show it, so let's do that. Just going to brush the brow hairs out first. So I'm just going to take my Pro Arte Master Stroke Series 61 in the size 8, and I'm going to take my base and carve out the brow. I'm really shaky. And then I'm going to bring it down, but I'm not going to go further down than my crease. And then here I am going to bring it down all the way to the front. It just helps to even out the skin tone around the eye. And then for the next step, you can take your powder, you can take an eyeshadow that matches your skin tone, whatever you think is easiest. I'm just going to take my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light, and I'm going to pack that right on top of the base just to set it. So now that I've primed the brow bone, I'm now going to prime the eyelid and create the shape that I want to go for. So I'm going to be using the P. Louise base in the shade Vivid Violet for that. Actually, I'm just looking at that next to the purple shade that I want to use, which is this one here. And it is a bit darker, so I'm also just going to take some of my P. Louise base in the shade 0, so it's just the white one. I just mix everything on my palette, so I'm going to take the brush I'm going to be using, and I'm literally just mixing the two in together. So I'm taking another of the same brush, but this is the size below. This is size 6. I'm going to trace out my shape and where I want it. Just working with my eye open. And I'm literally just following the shape of my eye around, and then I'm going to take a bit more, and I want it to wing out from the bottoms, just following my lower lash line here. I think I am just going to take this up a bit higher. I'd recommend just taking your time with this, just to make sure you're really happy with the shape. Even if it isn't completely sharp, it's not the end of the world, because I'm going to add liner afterwards. I'm just going to keep going down and then bring it up right here. And that is literally it. So now I'm going to fill in the shape. Should be a pretty good match for the shadow, I think. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more. I'm going to go right into the lash line, well, as close as I can get to it, and just connect it up to the outer corner. I've made a little bit of a mess out of that, but I'm really not that fussed. I'm just going to take a clean flat brush. Again, this is just from the same collection as the other two. They're art brushes, by the way. They're not actually makeup brushes, because they are incredibly affordable. They are linked in the description box of all my videos. I'm just using the clean brush so I can wipe off the excess and avoid creasing. So now I'm going to take a flat but kind of fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to go into this one, which is Daydream, and I'm going to set the colour. That is a pretty good match. I'm quite pleased with myself on that one. So I'm just covering the whole surface. I will take a smaller brush for some of the areas, but just for the main eyelid. Main eyelid, really? You don't have a main eyelid, do you? Don't say that. For the main part of the lid, the big brush is fine. There we go, that's looking really nice and even. And then I'm gonna take another Pro Arte Master Stroke brush, but this is series 63 and this is size number 4. And I'm just gonna take some more of the color and just make sure that I'm getting right into the edge, and just making sure I'm getting right into the edge of the wing as well. I do actually own quite a few of these P. Louise colored bases, but I don't end up using them that much. I just find that whenever I use them underneath a shimmer, it never looks as good as it would if I was using it under a matte. But for something like this, where I just want to get a matte shade all over a surface and I want to make sure it's not patchy or anything, this is what I really like them for. I'm also going to do the lower lash line. Probably gone a little bit lower down than I wanted it to, but I can always correct that with concealer. Cool, I'm really happy with that shape. It's maybe not super clean just here, but I'm going to do liner anyway. I'm just going to do the other eye first and then we will do the liner. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add the eyeliner, and of course I'm going to be using one of my Shein Cosmetics liners. This is Jade, just the black one. If I'm doing just like a winged liner, just a single line of liner, I'll use a gel liner. But anything more than literally just one line of liner, even if it is just like a dot or something, then I go for the Shein liners because I just find them a lot easier to work with, a lot easier to be more precise. And also, if you make a mistake, you can literally clean it up with water. If you make a mistake with gel liner when you've got eyeshadow on underneath, it's a lot more annoying to correct. So I am going to be using another Pro Arte Master Stroke brush. We're going to go in with series 60 this time. These are the only brushes I use with these. They are absolutely brilliant. This is the size 000, and I'm just going to add water. And you really can't add too much water to these. Like, the formula is just so good. Like with the Suva liners, you can easily add so much water to it, and if you don't realize, you put it on the eye and it just starts bleeding everywhere. That doesn't really happen with these. Like, they are really good. So we are going to start off with a liner. Honestly, nothing very interesting at this stage. And then I'm gonna wing it out. And now I'm also going to line the top of the shape, and for this I'm going to try and keep it thin the whole way. I don't want it to thicken like the liner, so I'm going to take my time with this. Okay, so it's just ended up a little bit thicker than I wanted, which is absolutely fine. I really don't mind. I really like the effect, actually. But after telling you guys that I don't tend to get bleeding with these, I did manage to get some bleeding. I obviously jinxed it. It's not too visible, it's just at the front. So I'm just going to take the brush I used with the P. Louise base again, and I'm going to correct that. There you go. That's literally all it takes. I could have also used some water, as I said, but in this scenario, I think it was just easier to cover it up. And then I am just going to take the Beauty Bay Pastels palette again, just take that angled brush and just set that base back in place. It's like that TikTok, you know, oh, no one's gonna know, how would they know? No one's gonna know that you made a mistake there, because you can cover it up so easily. The last thing that I'm gonna do with the liner, which I don't know why I've decided to do this because I find this so hard. I'm also going to use it underneath and try and get as close to the lash line as I can. I just get caught up in the lashes whenever I try to do this. Literally just lining that, getting right up into the lashes and trying to keep it as thin as I can. And then I'm going to make sure it's nicely connected up to my liner. That's not too bad. I've actually made it pretty even, like, especially compared to my left eye. I'm going to pop on a coat of mascara now, so I'm just quickly going to use an eyelash curler. This is just a cheap one. I think I got it from Primark or something. And then I've just been using the Maybelline Intense Volume Mascara. It's not the best mascara in the world, but it's pretty affordable. And I'm going to be putting on lashes anyway, so it does what I need it to, which isn't that much. And I'm going to do the lower lash line as well. And then I kind of wish I had a white eyeliner, but I just don't have one, so I'm going to use the shade Aurora from the Beauty Bay Pastel eyeliners and just get that on the waterline. Okay, so that is it it for the eyes for now, so let's move on to foundation. I really wanted to use one of my Too Faced foundations today, but they're quite pale, like as in they actually match me. And I've been testing out a self-tanning product, so my face is a little bit darker, so I don't think it's gonna work. But I'm gonna start with the Too Faced Hangover Primer. This is so lovely, especially at this time of year. It just gives that extra layer of hydration, and the smell is incredible. And then just on my T-zone, I'm gonna go in with the Miracle Matte Elixir from W7. I have been enjoying this product since I've been testing it out because it does contain clay. I don't know if you guys will see, but it has really dried out around the edges, so just be aware of that because I left it for a few weeks and then was like, wow, this is crusty. But the product inside is still fine. I literally take 2 drops. That's literally all I need, and I go right on the nose and on the forehead, literally just where I get oily, and it is also nice and blurring. For my foundation, I'm going to go with the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in a Mont Blanc. I don't actually have this, I just have a sample jar that I got while I was working over Christmas. I was covering on the NARS counter whenever they needed me, and I got given a sample so that I could actually try out the products, and it is really nice. Really nice. I should have spread this around more with my fingers. I don't know why I didn't. There we go. This is still a little bit pale compared to where my skin tone is, but that is fine. The coverage on this is gorgeous. You really don't need a lot of product to get a good amount of coverage. I'm just going to use a bit more because I just need some more around here. There we go. Just gonna spread it around. It's definitely made me look paler, which is not normally something that happens to me, but it is literally just my face that's tanned and not the rest of my body, so I do want to try and match. You guys will see what I'm talking about next week, probably. That's when the review will be up. Just gonna add a bit more just on the jawline. I'm currently debating whether I actually need any spot concealing anywhere. Maybe a little bit on this side, but I don't feel like I really need it. The coverage is just so good, and it also feels so lightweight on the skin. Like, it feels like there's nothing there. It's just really nice. Yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit of spot concealing just on this side because it is the side that's not doing quite as well. This side of my face is actually quite nice right now. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite in C5. I just dot it on where I need it. A little bit on the forehead. That's probably all I need. And then I just blend it out with the sponge. This is the Beauty Bay Microfiber Sponge, by the way. I think I forgot to say it. It's my favourite sponge at the moment. So now I'm just going to highlight the centre of my face and do my under eyes. So I'm just going to go in with the I Heart Revolution Heartbreakers Concealer in Buttermilk. I'm so boring when it comes to this. This is the concealer I pretty much use all the time. Like, I switch it up every now and then, but it just works for me, and the formula is really, really thin, so it just means it adapts really well. I can use it with any foundation, and it also doesn't crease too much on my under eyes, just nowhere near as much as other concealers do. Just using my Peaches and Cream PC13 to blend that out, and I want to get pretty close to the eyeshadow here because I want to clean that up. Make sure the colour is nice and thin, and then I'm just going to take the sponge again just to really blend it into the foundation. And then I'm also going to take my W7 Bronze Chic Bronzing Balm because why not? Let's have some fun today. I just take it on this flat top Iconic London brush, and I'm gonna bronze with it. I'm still really, really enjoying this. I just haven't used it a ton lately, just because for me this is a product that I would probably end up using a lot more in summer. I don't tend to bother with cream products all that much at this time of year. But the nice thing is that it's really easy to get right into the hairline with cream products. Sometimes that can be a little bit trickier with powders. And then I'm going to take my Morphe E62 and just do the lips and the nose. And I'm going to go over with my sponge because I don't know what I've done. I kind of screwed that up. There we go. And then I'm going to powder with my Too Faced Turn Up the Light palette. Just going to take the soft focus shade in the middle, and I'm just going to go all over with that. I'm pretty sure this isn't how this powder is meant to be used, but that's how I like to use it. I just think it's very similar to the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Just powders the foundation down, but you don't lose any of the radiance like you would with other powders. I'm going to contour with the deeper shade from my Revolution and Patricia Bright palette, and the brush I use is a PC15 from Peaches and Cream. I literally just go over these areas that I've bronzed, just more concentrated, just deepening them all up, giving my face some more shape. And then I'm also going to go in with a powder bronzer, and I think this time I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty bronzer. The shade is In the Sun. Just take it on an iconic London brush, and I just sweep it on a lot more. And then a little bit over the top of my nose as well. For my blush, I'm going to use my Anna Sui Black Powder Blush. This is the shade 302. I take it on my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH6. Just kind of sweep it on. I've been using this blush a lot lately, but I have been really liking it. It's a little bit pricey, especially for the size that you get, but it is just my perfect cool tone blush. Let's get a little bit on the nose. And then for highlighter, let's use the Ofra and Nikkie Tutorials highlighter in Glazed Donut. I feel like I haven't used it in a while. Just taking my PC17 from Peaches and Cream. Oh, this is just the definition of a blinding highlight, isn't it? I really like this Peaches and Cream blush for highlighter because you can go in really strong with it if you want. You can have it quite small, quite concentrated, but you can see the more I'm just going over with the brush, the more I'm buffing it in. I'm just going to go in with a bit more. Just the more you buff with this brush, the more you can blend it into the skin. And then for the center of the face, I just like to take a Zoeva 231. It's just nice and precise. And if you feel like you've gone in a bit too heavy, just take the sponge again. That looks quite nice. I'm just gonna finish off the eyes now. They need a little bit of highlighting. So I'm gonna take my Pixie Liquid Fairy Lights in the shade Crystalline, and I'm taking a clean Zoeva 231 for this. I'm gonna pop it on the inside. Just gives you this really sparkly inner corner that I really love. And I'm going to do it on the brow bone as well, which is a little bit over the top for the brow bone. I'd normally just use a normal highlighter, but I just wanted it to really pop. And then just to finish that off, I'm just going to take a little bit more of the sheen liner, and I'm going to go on the inner portion, and I'm going to create that wing on the inside. And I'm going to connect it up to the lower lash line. So that just leaves lips, brows, and lashes. I'm just gonna go and quickly do the brows and lashes off camera, and then I'll be right back. All right, so my lashes and brows are done. For my brows, I went with the W7 Brow Pomade in Blonde. I've really been liking it. And then my lashes are obviously from By Libby Beauty, because that's basically all I use, and they are in the style Alex. Everything that I use is always listed and linked down below, and some of the links are affiliate links, but I always mark them if they are. Right, before I do the lips, I think I wanna add a few more touches. I'm gonna go in with the Lottie London Freckle Tint. I have had this for a while and I'm not very good at using it, but I kind of want to master it because everyone else makes fake freckles look so good, and I feel like I'm kind of still failing at them. I just kind of go in with this, just like dot it around, and then I just take my finger, just like smashing into the ones I've got on, and it kind of spreads them around, and then I just repeat that. Obviously gone in a bit heavier handed on this side. I literally just spread them around until they're like quite faded in, which is supposed to make them look a bit more natural, but I don't know if I'm achieving that. What am I doing? This is what happens when I talk at the same time as I am doing these things. But then if you think about it, freckles in real life, they're not all the same size. They're not all, you know, tiny and perfect. You do have some that might be bigger. So it's supposed to be a bit more natural when you do it this way. I think I just really want to try a freckle pen like the Colourpop one or the Lime Crime ones. I feel like they do a very cute result. It's a learning curve. I feel like most of what it's done is remove my foundation there. I'm just gonna go back in with my sponge a little bit, and then just back into the Zoeva brush that I used the highlighter with as well. I think I also want to add some gems underneath the eyes. This is a box of clear gems, and it's got ones that are just kind of standard clear, and then the other side is a bit holographic. I think the holographic side would be nicer. I'm going to take the second smallest size. Again, the gems that I used are linked in pretty much every video. I'm going to take this wax pen. There we go. The glue that I use is just Duo Lash Glue. It's the brush-on one. I just find it quite good for this. It's nice and precise for dotting on. I think I'm also going to go for some small ones. I'm trying to get them on randomly, but it's never easy, is it? That just leaves lips, and I think I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. This is the shade number 10, Dreamer. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty. I was placing a Superdrug order and they had 2 for £12 on Maybelline, and I thought, you know what? I hear everyone talk about these and I have not tried them. And I've been after a cool toned pink for a very long time. It's a bit like blush. I wanted a cool toned pink blush and a cool toned pink lipstick, and this is a very pretty shade. I think it's exactly what I was after. I'm going to use some setting spray. I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Hangover. Why not? We'll go full circle with the primer and the spray. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of lash glue, and I'm going to add my gem. Just like that. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I hope as always that you like it. I feel like it was a pretty straightforward one to do. The hardest part is the liner. I'm not quite fully down with the faux freckles thing yet. I definitely need some practice, but I think I do want to try a pen. Let me know in the comments if you do fake freckles, what is your favourite product for it? What, you know, give me all the information, because everyone else is doing it and I feel like mine just kind of suck, basically. If you enjoyed the video, then do as always, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye guys!